legally battling that election process ever since, and the case is yet to be considered by the Alabama Supreme Court. Blackman is announcing this week that he's going to run against Brock in 2026. Blackman maintains that the county has a drug and crime problem and residents need to see these issues addressed. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Ashley, the owner of Pest Pro Services. You spoke and we listened. We're excited to launch Wildlife and Exclusion Pro, a new division of Pest Pro Services. Got squirrels in the attic, raccoons in the crawl space. We've got you covered. Our team will safely remove the animals and seal up the entry points, protecting your home and family. Call today, 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Call today, 265-9990, or visit us on the web at ppsriverregion.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. Lovely Wednesday out of Montgomery, Alabama. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And is everybody happy about the elections last night? I mean, honestly, I wasn't all that surprised. This is kind of what I was expecting and have been expecting in these deep blue areas, though Virginia is maybe a different story. But Mandami, you got yourself a new mayor. Maybe, just maybe, he can be better than Bill de Blasio. Let's go to Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show and editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
So the Mom Donnie show won last night. I also saw AOC just beaming, thinking she and her future looks bright as a young Democratic Socialist. What do you make of, and what's your takeaway from a lot of these elections last night?
I'm not surprised, but it's the margins. It is that they won by, especially New Jersey, and maybe I got trapped in that Fox News trap because they were really going hard in New Jersey. But I expected 7, 8, 10 points, and these were statistical blowouts. And so, I mean, I'm not surprised by the outcomes. I thought it was going to be a Democrat night, and no matter how they tried to spin it. But you're looking for a baseline. You're trying to establish that baseline and what that means going forward. And I think Republicans are underestimating really the enthusiasm that's, for better or for worse, that's against Trump.
Yeah, and it seems like we talked about this morning in your program, this is just the long-term trend. I remember for years on these airwaves with Dan Morris, Dan doing a little seminar on there also for his church groups and stuff. Like, here's why this happens. Here's why the party in power loses at least the House in the midterms. And the last, I guess, exception was what? The red wave that never was. So this is back to your point that it looks like in midterm years, without a robust top of the ticket, then Democrats are going to be able to not just squeak things out, but win big in certain places.
Yeah, and Republicans need to brace for that. They need to look at that. I don't know what the answer is, because probably like the smart set, though, the TV pundits will say, well, Republicans need to tone it down. They need to back off of their ideologies. I don't think that's the answer, because I think what brought them to the dance is certainly probably more valuable than trying to win over some other, voters or whatever. You're never going to get those. It's just got to be very, very surgical, and you got to really look and evaluate contest by contest by contest for 26. But I'll say this: if there is a silver lining, that it's a wake up call for the world post Trump. Trump said it today. Hey, I wasn't on the ballot. Well, he's never going to be on the ballot again. But it cuts both ways now. Like, a lot of the voters on the Republican side don't show up to vote unless Trump is actually, his name is on the ballot. Are a lot of Democrats, I think a sizable number of Democrats are not going to be as motivated to get out a vote against Trump. I think that's just part of it. So it cuts both ways. This is just how the pendulum swings back and forth.
Now, I want to share with the audience and to you, if you haven't seen it, the vice president came out with his reaction saying, J.D. Vance saying, I think it's idiotic to overreact to a couple of elections deep blue states. But a few thoughts: Scott Pressler, TPUSA, and a bunch of others have been working hard to register voters. I said it in 2022, and I've said it repeatedly since. Our coalition is, quote unquote, lower propensity. That means we have to do better at turning out voters than we have in the past. We also need to focus on the home front. The president has done a lot, has already paid off in lower interest rates and lower inflation, but we inherited a disaster from Biden, and Rome wasn't built in a day. We're going to keep on working to make a decent life affordable in this country. And then number 3, the infighting is stupid, says J.D. Vance. I care about my fellow citizens, particularly young Americans, being able to afford a decent life. I care about immigration and our sovereignty, and I care about establishing peace overseas so our resources can be focused at home. If you care about those things too, let's work together. This guy, I don't want to say he's perfect, but he knows how to hit that perfect pitch. He might have that gift there. But what do you make of that breakdown by the vice president?
I think that's, probably about as good as it could be expected, and really what we, I don't know what else he could say in this moment, but, Joey, the thing I was hearing today, and, what we're trying to figure out is exactly what's it take to get Republicans to show up in the way they showed up in 2024. And, what is it? Well, maybe you back off Israel and Ukraine. I don't think there's enough votes there for that. I think even if the economy is going gangbusters and everything is working like it's supposed to, even if, the vice president doesn't have to come out and say those things about Rome not being built in a day, then, does much change? Maybe on the margins, maybe you pick up a few points here and there. I just, this is just the natural course of politics is what it is. There's obviously exceptions to the rule. 9/11 gave us 2002, but this is just what we have to deal with.
And yeah, it's something that I'm hoping they actually get right. But all the infighting, without going into all the details, is making me a little nervous that there are folks on whatever side of the Republican divide that are willing to burn the house down to, be the owner of the ashes. And it's that sort of mentality post-Trump. And that's the magic of Trump. He's been able to build this coalition. Can a J.D. Vance, can a Rubio keep this all together? But I don't worry too much, because I do see, what do you make of like a Chuck Schumer, a Hakeem Jeffries, the traditional California Democrats with Pelosi and team, and Newsom and Harris still trying to be relevant, Pritzker and the Illinois folks? It seems to me the folks with the real energy and honestly great talent, Mandami is a heck of a messenger and a heck of a speaker and doing interviews and whatnot. that the energy and talent seems to be right there with the Democratic Socialists of America. And by the way, folks, they're very well funded.
They are, but it's going to bite them. It's going to bite them, Joey, because mark my word, they will have a very successful 2026. 2025 and 2026 will embolden the far left flank of the Democratic Party. There's no question about it. And but it feels like you're going to fall into this George McGovern trap where the Democrats are going to put up a candidate who's absolutely not fit in with the mold of this country, the DNA of the country, and that's what they got to be on guard for. But that's fine with me if that's the way they're going to go. But like I said, Mandami. And it's either far left ideological types like AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Mandani, or it's like kind of deep state, Mickey Sherrill, Spanberger types, Democrats. And then I don't think that is the necessarily the right way to go for Democrats.
Here. Now, what do you make of this big event upcoming at Auburn this evening? Turning Point USA, Tuberville will be there. I think Benny Johnson and the usual TPUSA crowd, I think, are going to be there. Tuberville anticipating standing room only. My hope is that TPUSA continues to be a juggernaut, not just of like, we get to have these great events, a bunch of college students and others, thousands show up. I'm hoping they remain a truly great grassroots organization like they proved in 24. It seems the emotion has somewhat, not completely, but somewhat gone away after the Kirk assassination. But it also seems like the mission and the people running this thing are still running pretty strong. What do you make of this aftermath at this point?
I don't necessarily. Tonight, I think it's a big deal. And Alabama and Ole Miss, or I guess in this case Auburn, but you know what I mean, the state of Alabama and the state of Mississippi. I mean, those are strongholds. You expect a big crowd, and you expect the emotion to carry over. I'm just trying to pinpoint what does this mean in particular, other than it demonstrates that there is that there is a youth movement, and it's not just aging boomers that watch Fox News nonstop. They're the future of the Republican Party, but there is sort of a grassroots phenomenon on the right that has to be understood and has to be respected.
Now, can we end on something just completely different? I ran across this from Dave Portnoy, who says he's a dog guy and a Tom Brady guy, but he thinks what Brady has done here is just strange. So, Dave, use stronger language. But the Bleacher Report is saying Tom Brady revealed that his current dog, Junie, is a clone of his late dog, Lua, who died in December 2023. The dogs were cloned by Colossal Biosciences, biotech company that Brady is an investor in, using blood collected prior to Lua's death. Would you clone your dog?
I don't know. I saw that and I thought about it, like how cool it would be to have Hank and Harvey, or a clone of them forever. But there's something that seems morally challenging about that. And I know animals are different than human beings, but I'm not. I mean, maybe in the loss of those dogs, I would be that way. But there's something that bothers me about it.
Well, at least he changed the name. Like if you keep having Junie, that's where you maybe need to pump the brakes.
I think a lot of people would do that though, right?
Yeah.
How attached do you grow to a pet, and that you could recreate that pet, and it's just like having that dog around. I think there's going to be a market for that.
Oh yeah, and I would just want to double check how good is Colossal Biosciences, because I don't want a pet cemetery situation on my hands.
No, you're right. But this is where the world's going, and I suspect that you'll see more of this in the future.
Yeah, it's just I've started to think about and ask just folks these questions, because there are going to be options in the future for humans, and in so many ways that I'm like, oh, we should ask basic moral questions here, and that's the best way to prepare for tough decisions. If you've never thought about it, you might make a mistake. Maybe if you prime the pump, we might not make many mistakes. But anyway, like, crazy story. I just wanted your take on it. And I always appreciate your time. If folks want to check out what you're working on, what you're talking about, writing about, how can they do so?
1819 News, 1819news.com. That's where you need to be if you're not already. And then if you just want to see my ramblings about it, be it politics or Auburn football, x.com/Jeff_4.
Oh, okay. What's going on with Auburn before I let you go?
So I think you're about to see, like, the way I'm going to put it is, I think we're at the point we're kind of in a regime change moment, if you will. So you remember Bobby Louder, right? That's who was the big wig, and now it's Jimmy Rain. I think the Jimmy Rain era is coming to an end. I think you're going to see a Harbert take the sort of the guy behind the curtain role, but I don't know how hands on that will be. But that's why I think it's going to be the fallout. Now, who's the coach? That's anybody's guess. I think it's a good job. But here's the thing, Joey, and I think I've said this on your show before. You go all the way back to Pat Dye. When they hired Pat Dye to fill the vacancy left by Doug Barfield, he was an East Carolina guy. Terry Bowden from Sanford. And then you go Tommy Tuberville, Ole Miss. That's sort of a bigger school. But beyond that, Chiswick, Iowa State, Malzahn, Arkansas State. You get my drift here. Yeah. And even to some degree, Hugh Freeze coming from Liberty. I know he was at Ole Miss too, but let's say Liberty. Auburn's always done this thing where they hire the mid-major up-and-comer. They don't do like Alabama. They don't go after Kalen DeBoer. They don't go after Nick Saban. This is the time, if there ever was a time, to figure out a way, and I know it's a crowded space, the LSU, Florida, Penn State, and all these other schools competing for the top coach, but that's what Auburn has to do. They got to figure out a way to get the big name, and that way you make this the what it's supposed to be on paper.
Yeah, they got to have a change, though. I'll tell you what, I chose just not to watch Saturday. I mean, and it turned out to be a good choice, but like this season, I will watch Auburn. I don't watch much football anymore, but I will watch Auburn. At this point, it wasn't even fun to watch. Like, I don't even mind losing necessarily if it's a good effort.
We have season tickets. I go to all the games, and I'm definitely not going to turn it off. I'm always going to watch basketball or whatever. That's sort of what the way I will go about it. But I'm telling you, Joey, I think that there's just something about watching it and wanting to see it for yourself, to be a reminder about how bad things were when the good times come.
Well, you're a true fan. There's just moments I'm turning more and more into my father, just not paying attention as much. Well, I appreciate it as always. Appreciate it, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Again, folks, that's Jeff Bohr. Always great having him on the program here. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting, and there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and that great team are ready to help you with that roof of yours. Now, it could be you don't have a problem at all with your roof, with your asphalt shingle roof or your big old metal roof. Maybe you have no problem whatsoever, but it's good to make sure you have no problem whatsoever. It's good to get inspections done on a regular basis. Basic preventative maintenance will extend the life of a roof for quite a while. Now, and it could be, though, you've been lucky, like you've been not doing inspections, not looking at it. It's been a long time since you've had it looked at. You need to call up River Region Contracting. And you might be wondering, well, what's that going to cost me? How much? Nothing. Their inspections are always free. And say they do find an issue, they'll write up an estimate for free. Sit down with you, explain exactly what the issue is, how they're going to fix it, and also their insurance specialist. So if you also have, say, anxiety about having to deal with the insurance company and make that claim, well, they can walk you through that claims process and make it a swift and easy experience. Y'all check out River Region Contracting today, the premier roofing contractor here in the River Region. That number 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Are you ready for some football? Whether you yell War Eagle or Roll Tide, if you're fourth and goal, then it's time you call in a special team, Alabama Home Mortgage. I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage, where we make mortgages easy. With a starting lineup like ours, you can rest assured that you are dealing with the MVPs of the mortgage industry here at Alabama Home Mortgage. Do you feel like you're being blocked on every play? Take a time out and make the call that will change it all. Call Alabama Home Mortgage at 567-4223, or you can visit our website, myalabamahomemortgage.com. Together, we can create the playbook that will lead to your financial victory. Don't let the clock run out. Call Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. 567-4223. Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. War Eagle, Roll Tide. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At E-Bike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. E-Bike Oasis offers free 1-hour electrical bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by E-Bike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
An official message from Medicare. Couple more minutes and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you got to make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, how did Mandami actually respond to his victory? I'm wondering, like, how did he actually cover his own triumph here? Like, how did he begin his speech, his victory speech, is what I'm asking. Yeah, I'm a sucker for oratory or rhetoric or something like that. More like a cork soaker for all. Yeah, I'm sure you were thinking it. But here, let's listen in to Zoran Mandami, or however you say his name. And he's not a communist or hardcore like socialist at all. If you put democratic in front of a word, like you could be a democratic murderer. And that's a lot better than just being a murderer. All right, we haven't done murder. True murder has never been tried. Folks, don't you know that? True murder's never been tried because it wasn't democratic murder. Now, like, I know there's been a lot of rape. But if it's democratic rape, if you consent, like, you can put democratic in front of everything and it makes everything a little better. Even if it's bad, you might think that democratic rape and democratic murder sound awful. Sounds pretty bad to me. But it's a little better than just like murder and rape, right? So he's a democratic socialist, and he's not a radical. He's not. Well, I need to hear him out. I'm sorry. Let's listen in to Mandami.
The sun may have set over our city this evening.
Yeah.
But as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity.
Eugene Debs, really, man?
For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers bruised from lifting boxes on the warehouse floor, palms calloused from delivery bike handlebars, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And yet, over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something great.
By the way, all you working class folks, he's trying to describe your calluses and your burns and all this. Your hands still aren't on power. Lenin sold communism with the promises, all the beautiful promises of free speech and liberty and all this stuff. Go look it up. Go look up Emma Goldman's rude awakening. After she's kicked out of this country for being an anarchist radical, she goes to where the revolution is truly happening and realizes in the Soviet Union, oh, these are just bloodthirsty murderers. Well, and particularly Lenin was. The thing is when Emma Goldman has that awful experience and she's trying to say, what about free speech? What about all these things that the socialist revolution was supposed to bring forth? And the people in charge go, oh, that's for the time being, we're still in the middle of the revolution. When the revolution's complete, maybe, but we're still in the revolution. And that's like just a bourgeois, like luxury. What are you talking about? The revolution's still on, so shut up. You're not allowed to say whatever you want. You better get in line with the party. And when this radical kind of sees, oh my God, I was lied to, and tries to tell socialists, of the democratic kind, of course, the Fabian socialists, let's go slow. Let's be the wolf in sheep's clothing. Tries to tell them it's a lie what's happening in the Soviet Union. They literally turned their backs on her. The working class's hands were not in power in Russia. And in fact, the productive, hardworking folks, so like farmers, not exactly like living high on the hog at some high rise, they're the ones that suffered. And that's just Russia. That's, you just focus on the Holodomor, not all the reprisals and the internal violence and just repression. It's crazy. All done in the name of the revolution. But if we do it democratically, it'll be much better. It won't be anything like the risky. I'm sorry, the working class does not have their hands on power in Venezuela. It's not true. Never was true. The working class did not have their hands in power, on the levers of power in Argentina. Argentina, one of the wealthiest countries on earth. Not only because it's being blessed with natural resources. You know what? Natural resources don't necessarily make you rich. What makes you rich is allowing free people to use their God-given talents to develop those resources into a robust economy. And for decades, Argentina, once the richest on earth, up there near the tippy top, they started to sink further and further and further into economic insanity. All in the name of helping the working class, people with the calluses on their hands and burns on their hands and fingers. But it actually took somebody saying, you know what, socialism is crap. It took Javier Milei actually standing up to the socialist regime down there, and he actually gave the working people a chance again. Not to be caught up in dependency, not to be subject to an overbearing government that in the name of compassion and wanting to help you and give you a fighting shot, breaks your leg and gives you a crutch, says all are equal, but I need to have unequal powers in order to see through this equality for all. It's nonsense. And in a way, I can only blame New York City for its own issues in this regard. When you talk about income inequality, go to all these cities run by Democrats for years. But the people of New York said, well, the Democrats suck. Let's not go with the Republican. Let's go even further left. So, quoting Eugene Debs, what's old, I guess, is all new again. But there was one point, I got a little montage here, it's short. Somebody described it as the dumbing down of America. Where Mandami just, I mean, this is what he truly believes, fine. And again, I don't knock the guy's skill. I think trying to hit him on like cultural things that aren't germane to what he actually believes are dumb, because that's just an easy layup that you're leaving the lane wide open for him when you talk about him like eating rice with his hands or whatever. Like, who cares? The toxic stuff are the fundamental ideas. Now, will he actually be able to see all this stuff through, all these promises he made? Probably not. Is this the first time he had some radical in office there? Of course not. And do I live in New York City? No. So I don't really care. But it is interesting to see that the speech Mandami gave last night didn't seem to be about New York City. It seemed to be about the nation. It seemed to be about fighting Trump. And as much as the socialists talk this big game of compassion for the working man, they are lulling the working man into serfdom. And it's been something I've had to learn for a while. There are a lot of people, though they might reject the label, that don't long to be free. They long to be safe. They long to be serfs. They get their little pittance. They get their little allowance. They don't expect too much else out of life. Work their little job. There you go. And it takes all types in this world. But don't believe this lie that politics will set you free from all the troubles of living. It won't. I mean, even when I hear Trump and the Republicans talk up this whole thing, you can make the practical argument they're better than the alternative, but even many of the big promises they make, it's a bit much. For a nation that is supposed to be a Christian nation, we seem to be more worshiping the idol of the state. The idol of fighting over political power. And it makes for a rip-roaring good time. What a spectacle. What a show. Woo! But here is the dumbing down of America. It starts with Ronald Reagan. Goes to Bill Clinton, then we'll get to Mandami.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
I agree with that. We know now there was a lot of government Reagan used, but anyway.
Big government does not have all the answers.
Yeah, Bill.
We know there's not a program for every problem.
We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
So we've gone from government is the problem to government can't solve everything, let's be practical, to government can solve it all and care for every little concern under the sun that you might possess. Phew. Now, shifting gears a little bit, let's go to AOC, who was there last night. And in many ways, AOC is seeing just victory in her future, especially over Chuck Schumer. I have to say, she's looking great. I can admit it. She's looking great. I don't care if you bubbas out there are like, but what? She's a socialist, but she's a democratic socialist. It lightens the mayhem a bit. It's a terrible ideology. I agree with you. Like, I don't think I could put up with somebody who truly believes in this stuff, but But she's objectively hot. Like, why am I even talking about that? Just, I'll shut up, let the woman speak.
Many people who participated and were brought together by his campaign.
Okay, she went down a few points after hearing your voice.
Because they were not just tasked with defeating a Republican.
Yeah.
They were also tasked with defeating the old guard of the Democratic Party that essentially led us to many of the perils of this moment. So he had a two-front war to win.
Oh, good God, woman. We had a two-front war that we had to win. And no, what, the guy with the beret? The guy with the beret was, like, involved with the gangs 20, 30 years ago? And by involved, I mean a victim of them. Like, the guy who won 7% of the vote? Oh, don't make this about, we had to defeat the Republican. No, what you had to defeat were the Democrats, who are the establishment. And the idea that you beat, I do it with everybody, Andrew Cuomo, is not exactly some gold star moment, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. We'll calm down. I'll just listen to her, or I'll just look at her. I won't listen. She's very pretty.
Is what makes his victory so deeply impressive.
Deeply.
And I do think that this moment, a lot of people who are willing to talk about party unity when it serves them, but not party unity when it serves everybody, it puts those folks on notice. And I think it also puts folks on notice that we have a future to plan for. We have a future to fight for. And we're either going to do that together or you're going to be left behind. And I think that is not a partisan issue. It's not about progressive. It's not moderate. It's not liberal. This is about, do you understand the assignment of fighting fascism right now? And the assignment is to come together across difference no matter what.
Or maybe we could have a thing called freedom. Maybe. But it seems like every attempt to actually bring about true change and freedom, what do we get? Well, accusations of fascism and, well, more calls for socialism and the doubling down on it. Okay. Sure, that'll work great. Like when you're calling Javier Milei a fascist. Really? Okay. And that's the thing. And that old democratic socialist, because it's better if you put democratic in front of it, right? I don't advocate for murder. True murder has never been tried. I'm for democratic murder. We vote to see, by simple majority, we could do 2/3 of who we're killing today. It'll be live on the internet to stream for $5 subscription a month. But when you're calling the very people that are actually trying to pull back the state the fascist, you're falling for the trap. Because that democratic socialist George Orwell did say, he noticed that it looks like the socialists does this job of centralizing power. And they centralize power. And they centralize even more power because the housing thing didn't work. I'm sorry, freezing rent didn't work. So you need to give me more power, more money, more centralized authority. I need unequal authority to control every aspect of your life so that I can make everybody equal. I need to be unequally powerful so I can make everybody equal. You know what happens when you do that? You invite the wolves. You invite the strong men. It doesn't matter if they're under a banner of like cultural renewal and right-wing crap and the nation's values, or they're trying to build the new Soviet man and usher us in and perfect man, mold him like clay into something liberated from the exploitative chains of the capitalist system or the white supremacy or whatever. Take your pick, the patriarchy. It's nonsense. Always has been nonsense. Anyway, I need to hit a break. I've been ranting enough. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and their Pest Pro Ashley and that great team are ready to help you. Well, that ain't all of your pest control needs. It could be you're just looking for some great basic pest control service. You can get on their monthly subscription model. Great program that you could add to if you want to add things like termite protection and mosquito protection when the time is right during the year. But of course, they have this new wildlife control service. So if you're worried about as we head into the fall and winter months, these colder months, those little critters get inside, squirrels, rats, mice, God forbid a bat, or birds nest up in there, or, animals. You don't want wildlife in your home. And the beauty with Pest Pro is not only are they going to get the animal out of it, get the exclusion job done, they'll be checking all entry, exit points, any potential access points, checking around the area, maybe something that's attracting the wildlife in the first place, so you can just stop the problem altogether. So y'all check out Pest Pro Services today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces or call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector.
That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig?
No, but it looks like you do.
And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich?
What's that?
I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man.
You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist?
That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE.
You know, I've heard a lot of good things about David Ernest.
You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience.
Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold.
That's right, man.
And I can see that you don't have very much experience.
What do you mean, man?
Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small and then kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich.
Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first.
You think he's got a shovel?
Never know till you ask.
I dig, man.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For tough, good-looking roofs, it's Tamco Shingles from Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For great folks and great prices, call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It is a great Wednesday forecast today with plenty of sunshine and a high temperature up to about 77. Tonight, still back down to the 40s, but not as cool as it has been. I think the warming trend continues tomorrow and Friday with highs in the upper 70s to near 80. Showers and thunderstorms on Friday night out ahead of the first of 3 frontal systems that'll move through over the weekend. Even though we'll be in the 70s Saturday and Sunday, get ready for an Arctic plunge of temperatures by the beginning of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Ready to borrow smarter this season? Apply online in minutes at yourasecu.com. Call 334-270-9011 or visit your local branch today.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASD.
Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Hey, Joey. I guess we can sit and be depressed, but I saw this coming like a freight train. You know, the Republicans once again just completely fumbled any opportunity to make inroads in some of these blue states. And the reason is they just got off the message. They didn't really talk about affordability and immigration. And to me, those are the two most important things this country faces. And of course, they didn't include Trump in New Jersey. Of course, and unfortunately for Republicans to be engaged, Donald Trump's got to be there. So I don't know what the future holds for Republican Party once Trump is gone.
And I think New York City's overstated. It's simply, I think a lot of people moved during and after COVID. New Jersey, I think, was always aspirational, happy talk. I think the big lesson is Virginia And in particular, all you more traditional GOP, kind of, you want to go back to the Bush era, but with a little social media pizzazz. Like Glenn Youngkin, you screwed us. You screwed Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. Thank you. Anyway.
Yeah, he's a McKesson guy, isn't he?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big, he's just a big government Republican, just like they all are. But really, I think it's really, if you look at the numbers, I mean, the youth that came out from Mandami is pretty staggering.
Especially
because, the problem is affordability.
Yeah. Well, and especially the young women that you sent me. My God, man.
Oh, yeah. It's unreal, man.
Ooh.
The affordability and the safety and security of daddy giving them everything and not ever having to ask permission. I mean, they just want that. And unfortunately, in a capitalistic system, there's winners and there's losers, and they don't like that.
Yeah, and there's definitely a dynamic of, well, Dad, I found a new dad, and his name's Mandami, so screw you and your Trump fascism, and Charlie Kirk, too. It's like, oh, God, you ugly woman.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it's just, it's kind of just, it's sad, really. I mean, I have friends in New York, and,
yeah,
they're talking about leaving and all this kind of stuff. But, I mean, the bottom line is we're going to see yet another, city just completely disintegrate that New York somewhat has already. And then you're going to have problems with, I think fire chief already turned his resignation. You're going to have police leaving. I mean, virtually it's going to be a microcosm like Montgomery.
Yeah.
And don't think that can't happen in a city like here,
oh, yeah.
especially when you have only political engagement of 27% of people voting.
Oh, yeah, that's how you end up with that's how you end up with a jackass in the mayor's office.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you got to be engaged. You got to know what's going on. I mean, especially local stuff. And these people in New York decided, hey, we don't like where things are headed, and we want a guy that's going to freeze rent and do all this other stuff for us. Well, but I think hopefully it's a wake up call for the Republicans, because if they don't change their ways and really address the problems that are going on, and we don't see a change as far as the economy start to move in the right direction, you're going to have an absolutely sweep in the midterm elections. And you thought Trump getting impeached and all that stuff last time was bad? Just wait.
Yep.
They're out for blood.
Well, I appreciate the call, Chris. Got to run here.
Oh, hey, real quick thing. Filibuster. Do you think they should get rid of the filibuster and just go?
I say go for
earth
it.
And pass.
Yes.
That's what I say too.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Let's go to Pat B. Hey, Pat.
Good afternoon. I got two quick questions. The clip you just played at AOC, did you do anything to the... I never realized her voice was that high-pitchy and squeaky.
Yeah, no,
whiny.
I swear I didn't do anything to it, just to get a little sample.
So many people who participate.
I think it's...
Yeah.
I think it's...
like you said, she's pretty to look at, but when she opens her mouth, you just cringe at the stupidity that comes out.
I think what was happening is there's a lot of background noise, so she was trying to project. I'm like, say it with your chest, Alexandria.
The other thing is, referencing Virginia. Virginia is a lot like Nevada. You've got three major cities there that are controlled by the Democrats, and in Nevada, it's two. But all that blueness wipes out all the red that's in the rest of the state. So anyway, it's just, I agree with your last caller. If the Republican Party don't get their act together, next year at the midterm, it's going to be ugly with a capital U.
Yeah, the economy especially needs to be humming. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Let's go to TS real quick. Hey, TS, how are you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Okay. All I'm going to say real quick is you can rant and rave because it's Wednesday.
Yes,
and on Wednesdays, I let you just go. And your show has been phenomenal today.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you've been saying.
Even that AOC's hot?
I don't even know what she looks like, Joey.
Oh, you're better off than I.
Okay, baby. Love you more. Bye.
Appreciate you, TS. I have to hit a very quick break here. Be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Big news! Phillips Dunn Animal Hospital has a new name. But don't worry, everything you love is still the same. Now they're Pike Road Animal Hospital, still at 5148 Troy Highway. Still the same great team you've trusted for years. Same friendly faces, same expert care. Just a new name, and still offering boarding, grooming, and doggy daycare. Pike Road Animal Hospital, formerly Phillips Dunn Animal Hospital. New name, same heart. Compassion you know, care that you trust.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones. And let's talk to Josh Bottoms with Sons Kia of Montgomery. Sir, how you doing today?
Man, I am doing fantastic, Joey. You know, I won't tell you where I'm at today because I'm not at work. I played hooky today. But it is just a beautiful, beautiful day out here.
It really
My
is.
time, it really and truly is. So played hooky from work, man. But, they're still selling cars, man. We've still got a lot of great things going on. November has kicked off, and it's one of my favorite months of the year because it just goes into that family time, And speaking of family, so we're actually doing a food drive this month. It's a family-driven food drive. We're doing it all the way up until the 22nd of the month. Bring in some canned goods, get some discounts. We'll take some money off, but, get some discounts just for bringing some canned goods in. Come in. We'll do that for you. We've got, there's a lot of great interest rates lowered this month, so we got some 0%. We've got 0.9 on most of the SUVs out there. And we hadn't seen 0.9 in years.
Right.
Especially in the Kia world. We got some new rebates for financing. Still doing I'm at $33.50 off of the K5s right now, the 2025 K5s. $4,400 off of the 25 Sorrentos. I've still got that Soul that you can lease for $249 a month. I've got the Seltos you can lease for $289 a month, and then I've got the Sorrento that you can. The Supported you can lease for $299 a month. So I got 3 vehicles that we can lease for less than $300 a month. That's unheard of. So service is wide open, doing all that. You can even bring in some canned goods for service. We'll give you discounts on your oil change, discounts on your services. Y'all come see us on this side of the boulevard, or you can shop us at www.sonskiamontgomery.com.
Appreciate it as always, Josh. And that energy, that good time is infectious right now. So love it.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all come see us.
Thank you. Again, that's Josh Bottoms there with Sons Kia of Montgomery. Y'all stop by. Honestly, don't have that much time, like 2-3 minutes. Hey, Papa B, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay. Maybe if it goes long, you'd hold me over. But
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, we can do that. We could maybe do that.
So, these elections last night, disappointing. I think Winston Sears, for instance, looked like she was maybe had a chance, about 3 weeks ago, but then lost momentum. It's interesting to me how, here's a black woman, and that's like the ideal candidate for the Democrats. And instead they vote for the white liberal woman. That doesn't make too much sense to me there. I don't know.
Have you not figured out they hate black conservatives? With a passion?
No, I figured it out a long time ago. It just, it's interesting how, but that's not their storefront type face. They don't say it like that. So yeah, now, it's, of course, they haven't seen anybody, but
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Right. They're like, we love the
Virginia,
rainbow. And I'm like, well, follow me to the end. We'll catch a leprechaun and we'll celebrate God's promise to Noah. And they're like, no, we want to find somebody soaking somebody's cork at the end of that rainbow. It's like, no, what are you talking about? It's just anyway, that's something like that, right?
There's something like that. So, you know, Virginia, I think Virginia ought to just donate Fairfax County to Washington, D.C. If they could just like annex it, say, okay, y'all can have Fairfax County. Probably wouldn't have to be all of Fairfax County, but just, you know, most of it, then they might be able to, you know, win red again. So,
yeah.
But I mean, were you really surprised at any of these races at all?
A little surprised at Virginia, but given how much they distanced themselves from Trump, and Youngkin, I think, really did, and that wing of the GOP really screwed up there. But New York City, and very early on, Youngkin was using Winsome Sears to really kind of go after Trump, push away Trump, and this is back when DeSantis might have been a thing. And and so there was a lot of like, yeah, we don't need to embrace Trump. We can run our own local campaign. We don't need those sort of resources and whatnot. And I think it just fell flat. And Youngkin caught lightning in a bottle with the transgender kids and parental rights thing. But yeah, at this point, you know, maybe the guy can make a comeback. But I think the actual driver of the right wing right now is the MAGA wing, is the populist wing.
So, no, back up just a second though. So this, you know, the Spanberger or whatever, what is her name?
Yeah,
the
Spanberger
governor. So, but she's for all the transgender stuff, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I mean, I guess everybody knew it. I don't know. They voted for her anyway. So how did Youngkin win, and then, you know, now Spanberger wins?
Well,
it's more of an anti-Trump vote, I think, than a pro-Spanberger.
Yeah, I think it has gone to the bread and butter issues. And I think there's also the effect of Republicans like, we won. Look, we voted for the right governor, and he passed all these great laws and stuff, and we won. And it's like, you know, you got to keep going.
Lackadaisical.
Right.
Okay, I got you. And that brings me to this point. Just because Trump won this last time does not mean that anybody can stop, you know, breathe easy. I mean, thank goodness. Yeah, well, can, but I mean, that can change, you know, with one election. And our dear sharks are still swimming around here. And now they smell blood in the water. They think that, oh, we've got the right, you know, combination of ways we can win. Now, that's just in the Northeast corridor. And I don't believe that translates much farther than, you know, a regional type of thing. But for sure, the, you know, AOCs of the world are saying, well, this government shutdown thing, it's working for us.
Yep.
So they're going to continue to pressure now, Chucky Boy and company, and saying, don't you dare end the shutdown. Right?
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's coming. And this was kind of the idea. Pain, and chaos. And you sow enough of it, and people will believe whoever you point the finger at. But I will have to hit a break here. And I always appreciate talking to you, man. Later. Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The federal government shutdown reached day 36, making it the longest in U.S. history. President Trump is urging Senate Republicans to abolish the filibuster and pass a spending bill to get people back to work and the food stamps flowing to hungry families in need. Exit polls from New York, New Jersey, and Virginia indicate that voters actively rejected the Trump-aligned Republicans, reflecting disapproval of some of his performance, especially when it comes to the economy. The president says the ongoing government shutdown that's been making life harder for many Americans for several weeks now, played a big factor. Tonight marks the largest supermoon of 2025, rising during the southern torrid meteor shower, offering enhanced viewing across the eastern part of the country. It's been a booming session on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now up close to 300 points. This is SRN News.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-304-3399. 800-304-3399. That's 800-304-3399.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by McPhillips Schimbaum.
My name is Aaron Luck, a partner with the law firm of McPhillips Schimbaum. If you or someone in your family has been seriously injured by the negligence of someone else, call me directly.
262-1911. Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It is a great Wednesday forecast today with plenty of sunshine and a high temperature up to about 77. Tonight, still back down to the 40s, but not as cool as it has been. I think the warming trend continues tomorrow and Friday with highs in the upper 70s to near 80. Showers and thunderstorms on Friday night out ahead of the first of 3 frontal systems that'll move through over the weekend. Even though we'll be in the 70s Saturday and Sunday, get ready for an Arctic plunge of temperatures by the beginning of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Elmore County voters have overwhelmingly voted no to the Enhance Elmore tax plan. Unofficial results show 93% of voters said no to raising taxes, with turnout slightly more than 20%. The Enhance Elmore plan would have generated $4.5 million per year to build a new jail, increase funding for volunteer fire departments, and fund infrastructure improvements. Montgomery police have made an arrest in a Monday afternoon shooting that left 2 people injured. 20-year-old Torian Mitchell is charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault. The shooting happened just after 3 p.m. in the 2200 block of Eastern Boulevard, where a woman and a juvenile female were wounded by gunfire. No word yet on the victim's condition. A new safety ordinance designed to address dangerous pedestrian activity will go into effect in Montgomery this week. The new law will prohibit people from being on active roadways or standing on medians to interact with drivers. The Montgomery City Council passed the measure to address the increasing number of accidents involving pedestrians in roadways. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
Folks, let's go right to the phones and talk to Austin Baranco with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing today?
Oh, having a great day, Joey. It's beautiful outside in Montgomery today.
Yeah, very nice. Somebody else just called me and told me that. What am I doing inside? Well, I wouldn't go.
You got to get out for a little bit. When your segment's over, go enjoy the sun today.
Yeah, I'll go walk around for a little while. So I want to touch on the economy. I'm watching Trump speak live as we speak, saying this is the golden age of America. He's boasting and talking about a lot of things, but the interest rates coming down, I think, is a very big deal, is it not?
Yeah, it's definitely been probably the biggest talking point for, a little over 2 years now, and it continues to be. There's kind of 2 driving factors, the dual mandate, inflation and employment. Over, I'd say, the last year, inflation has been kind of the talking point, but it's really shifted in recent months to be jobs data. And so, what listeners, need to hone in on jobs data and our predictions on will we get another rate cut before year end heavily depend on the way that the Fed interprets the job data. So unemployment is hovering around 4%, which is not unusual. We'd like to target below 4%, approaching 3 would be better. But, you also have labor force participation rate, which is how many people that are capable of working are actively seeking employment and not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. And that number is alarmingly low right now. It's around 62%. At its peak, a healthy labor force participation rate is going to approach 70%. And for your prime working age, call it like 35 to 55, that's going to be 85 to 90%. But right now we're looking at 62% on, workforce participation rate. And so if you take the total, jobs numbers that have come out around 4% unemployment, but you apply the labor force participation metrics to it, what you really get is unemployment of really probably closer to 7 or 8%, which is alarming. And so if you're a Fed chairman or you're on the board of governors and you're looking at jobs as one of your 2 mandates, you've got to be taking this into account. And, I would anticipate a rate cut in December. Jerome spoke earlier in the week or late last week and basically said, hey, it's foggy. And, if you're driving a car in the fog, you want to slow down, which kind of spooked the market briefly. We had a brief little pullback, and I'm not really so sure that that's the way the year is going to end up, but he's been, pretty pessimistic over the last couple of years anyways. So I don't know where we're going to fall, but my gut tells me the jobs data is pointing to at least one more quarter point cut by the end of the year. And that's important for our market, particularly here, Joey. The 10-year is pegged off of interest rates, which means mortgage rates are going to be pegged off of interest rates. And right now, mortgage rates are finally hovering in the low 6s for people with good credit. If we get one more rate cut, a quarter point rate cut, you could see mortgage rates finally dip back into what we call a 5 handle, 5% and change. And so I think you'd see a lot of refis, a ton of economic activity here in our local market. And so I'm hoping that happens. And then on Trump's comments, like you were saying, it's the golden age. We so often, I feel like, get sucked into a negative news cycle where, the world's coming to an end, everything's awful. Man, you know how much better we have it right now than our parents and our grandparents? I was at an economic forum this morning over at Wind Lakes where some of the leaders of Alabama, both economists and real estate investors were speaking. And the lead economist from Oak Worth Capital today was talking about, his grandmother talked about getting like a new pair of shoes for Christmas. And, his dad used to talk about getting, maybe like a bicycle for Christmas or something like that. And, you go to what kids are getting for Christmas now, it's PlayStations, it's the Oculus headset, it's ridiculous things like that. And that oftentimes is in a middle-class family. We're not talking about, families that are making $1 million a year. I'm talking about families that are making, the head of the household maybe bringing in $40,000, $50,000 a year, being able to provide their children with technology that was inaccessible to the middle class the previous decade or 2 decades ago. And so, or generations ago rather. And so, we do, I think, oftentimes get caught in a negative news cycle, and it's easy to do that. But, while I don't want to, praise Trump's rhetoric too much, I do think there is some validity to this being a golden age. Right now, we have it very good.
Now, you got any buddies looking to leave New York City?
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to ask about the Mandami situation, and my phone was blown. I woke up this morning with a lot of text messages. Let's just say it that way. And, as you'd imagine, a lot of my friends in the area are left-leaning, and I think they are also a little bit concerned. People are struggling to define what Mandami is. Does he lean left or right? He's really not either. He's kind of in his own category. I hate to pound the word socialism, but it certainly seems like some of the policies that he promotes lean more towards a socialist agenda. Historically, if you follow societies that adhere to strict socialism, most of them or all of them, to my knowledge, have eventually crumbled. And so I think it's a unique social experiment that we're about to watch, the largest economic center of the biggest economy in the world now being run by a 34-year-old with socialist ideals. I think one of two things could happen. I think one, he could run off the tax base of his city at an accelerating rate, which would be very bad for New York in the short term, but I think it would be maybe great for the broader country to watch what happens when leadership like that takes place? Or B, I want to be a positive guy. Maybe he gets in, maybe he learns the bureaucracy of governing a large city and the moving parts and levers that he's required and responsible for pulling aren't as easy as the campaign trail. And that's my suspicion is what will happen is, hey, there's two types of politicians, types that are really good at getting elected and then types that are really good at leading and running a city. And for New York's sake, I hope he's both, because we know he's good at getting elected, but now we're going to have to see what he's made of.
Well, folks, it's this sort of, I think, broad and deep, insight, expertise. Like, you've got to go work with Invista Advisors over there. And Austin's just one of the great folks over there. They have an entire team put together to help with financial planning services, high levels of experience. They got CPAs, they got business consultants, investment advisors, and they can put together a plan for you wherever you are in life and help you make that plan when it comes to your wealth and your money. You just call them today, 387-0094. When you call them at 387-0094, be sure to say, hey, I heard Austin Branco on that radio show with that Joey Clark character.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate it, Joey, and make sure you get outside for some sunshine today.
I will do. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Bye.
Again, that's Austin Branco with Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Businesses have trusted our family at Delta for their printing needs since 1979. Today, Delta does business printing and so much more. We print invitations, Christmas cards, Canva, and Etsy files in as little as 24 hours. We can also print and address the envelopes, saving you time and money. Come see us at 5757A Atlanta Highway or call 271-COPY or shop at letdeltadoit.com. When you need printing, copying, gifts, signs, or more, let Delta do it.
I'm Jim Smith with Adams Drugs. At Adams Drugs, we offer a wide variety of services, including delivery, compounding, wellness clinics, and immunizations. Now is the time to visit any Adams Drugs location and get your flu shot. Getting an annual flu shot can help prevent you from getting the flu, reduce the severity of symptoms if you get the flu, and prevent serious complications such as hospitalization and death. Getting your flu shot at Adams Drugs protects you from getting sick, but it also makes sure that those around you, especially those at high risk, remain safe. Each year, up to 49 million people in the U.S. contract the flu. Depending on the flu virus's severity, deaths as a result of flu complications could skyrocket to 79,000 people nationwide. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for a location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
This is James Cole with Cole Plumbing, and I want to thank Blue Water Broadcasting. I have been advertising with them for several years, and they have brought me quality business. I really appreciate them.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I did stick my head outside. It is nice out there. It's quite nice. Now, hey, what did Mandami say last night? He said a thing.
The conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I am young, despite my best efforts to grow older. I am Muslim.
Mm.
I am a democratic socialist.
Mm.
And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this.
Oh, you will. You will, sir. Maybe not publicly, but you will. I mean, I'd swear half that crowd, it sounded like the cheer and stuff. Here, let's hear that again real quick.
Grow older. I am Muslim.
Yeah. Does that sound like a lot of women? My silent supervisor over here, he will not be revealed, but he's supervising me today, and I appreciate it, kind sir. But that sounded like a lot of ladies, like, Muslim! Yeah! Like, what are we even clapping about? Seriously, what are we even clapping about? Who wants Islam? All of it, yeah! Wrapped up in democratic socialism. See, it'll be democratic Islam, right? Along with the democratic socialism. And in particular, the breakdown of like the number of women in particular. Like I'm looking at a breakdown here, age by gender, voting patterns. Men 18 to 29. They still are young people, and they're still voting for Mandami. 68% there, 66% there, 30 to 44. Only 45% for Mandami, 45 to 64, 65 and up, only 36%. But when you go to women in particular, 18 through 29, 84% of them voted that way. But at the end of the day, it's a deep blue city. A deep, very deep blue city indeed. Now, I want to go to something a little different. There's a guy out there, I've played a clip of him before, but he's an ex-Muslim. Because we just heard all those, girls in there cheering for Islam and democratic socialism. You see, Dad, I'm an independent boss bitch now. You see, I voted for a democratic socialist Muslim. You can't tell me what to do, Dad. Or it's about the ex-husband or something, or maybe just nobody ever loved you, except, the girls that would pretend to listen to your stories while y'all vent about people that you claim you never talk about or hate. Anyway, as they're cheering for like Muslim democratic socialists, this guy, I think it's Ismail Youssef. He was on Lila Rose's show, and he was asked about Mandami. And I believe he's a Catholic now. I think Lila Rose is also a Catholic. Yeah, this guy grew up was born in Germany, but then grew up in Turkey. And eventually, in his story, if you look it up on Matt Fradd Show or Lila Rose, he tells his whole conversion story. And it also goes into how a lot of Muslims are converting because it's not like they allow church bells in Muslim countries. It's happening through dreams, which is very, biblical. But here is this ex-Muslim, Ismail Youssef, talking to Lila Rose about Mandami.
You think Mandami is practicing taqiyya?
1,000%. 1,000%.
He's presenting
the
as
Muslims are laughing at you guys. Like this is the funniest thing. Like, dude, give it 50 more years, entire New York's gonna be Muslim, and then before you know, it's gonna be Sharia courts, and then like y'all are. It's like it's like shooting yourself in the foot. Like I can't even believe. And like you see Europe. You look at Europe, it's happening right now, and then you're like, oh, let's just do it here in New York. Like it's like, no, like you have to stop. Like obviously taqiyya is working. and they're doing an amazing job at it, and they're fooling everyone. Like, and all the Muslims are like so happy that's happening. Like, this is the best thing that could happen in Islam, and he's gonna win because we're too stupid. Like, no matter how many times ex-Muslims will say Taqiyya is a real thing, they are lying to you. They will take over within 100 years. No one's gonna listen because we just assume that our God is the same as their God. We just assume that their God will tell them not to lie, but their God tells them to lie. That's the difference.
But are you saying, could it be that someone like a Mandami, he's Muslim, he's a practicing Muslim, self-professed, you know, he avowed, that's what he is. But maybe in the back of the mind, he's like, yeah, I'll be practicing Muslim and I'll tolerate other people. But the more he leads, the more for him to practice, he has to dominate. But that, I mean, I'm just saying, could it be in the back of his mind, there's a duplicity in his own mind where he doesn't realize that he is he's not intentionally practicing Taqiyya, is what I'm saying. Or you think, no, it's like, this is a strategy.
I don't think you realize how bad it is. I don't think, like, they talk about it openly. Like, they'll literally be like, guys, we have to go out and say, like, we love the gays so that we can take over the West. And then as soon as we take over, we'll kill all the gays.
Again, you can look up this guy. He's been on Lila Rose's show, Matt
You think
Fradd's show.
Mamdani is...
Yeah, okay, we already heard that one. And we've got a few other clips here, but let's go to the phones. Got a few rolling in here. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey, this is Babs.
Hey, Babs.
I'm not really surprised, Mandami, because Mandami, whatever his name is. Do you know whether or not he's a United States citizen?
I would assume so, but I have no clue.
You probably don't have to be mayor. And the other thing, I really, really and truly was stunned at Virginia and New Jersey. Just stunned that people are so stupid. And it is stupidity. It's pure ignorance. They do not know what any. I'm just mind blown. But that's all I had to say. I just can't believe how ignorant people are. Do they really think Mandami's going to be able to give them all this free stuff?
Well, some people do. They do. But you know,
it's just absolutely frightening, isn't it?
Yeah, well, but I've gotten used to the ignorance of voters. That's just kind of a thing.
And as you've been saying, you've been reading more in your Bible.
Yes, ma'am.
And as you read in the Bible, especially Revelations, this sounds like the end time, of what's happening. But anyway, I love the show, Joey. Love you too. And thank you for taking my call. And I'm listening always.
Appreciate you, Babs. Love you. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
What's going on, Mr. Joy?
Hello, Duke. How are you?
How you doing, man?
I don't know how I'm doing, man. Like there's a moment here where I'm confused. I admit it. I'm a little confused. Like how does AOC get to be that attractive? With those big brown eyes, and that beautiful olive skin, and that big old booty, and like why? And then she opens her mouth, and then I'm trying to yell at her.
Boy, if I wasn't a married man, though, boy, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, but you know then. You don't have to say it, but you know.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you. But I was thinking about you a while ago when they talking about how nice it is outside. I had my window down, the wind just blowing on my fresh shaved bald head, boy.
Yeah.
Oh man. But I got a question for you, Joey. What you feel about Margaret Taylor Greene going on The View?
I refuse to watch the clips. Like those yammering.
She's getting around a little bit, and she's pissed off with Mike Johnson pretty heavily there.
Did she hold her own on The View at least? Did you see the clips? I didn't see it.
I just saw a little bit of it, and I didn't watch it all. But just the idea that she's going on The View, talking about her own party and everything. Man, it's kind of interesting right here.
Oh yeah. At the end of the day, I think Marjorie said some kooky crap, but honestly, I kind of like her. Like I've watched her in a lot of long form podcasts where she's sitting down for 3 hours just chatting, and hard not to like her. And actually, I think that's why she could hold her own on The View. People are going to try to
she's telling
crazy.
She's telling the truth. She's telling the truth about the Republican ever since Trump been in the office. The way first term talking about the health insurance that is going to replace Obamacare. So she's on point about all of that.
Sure.
See? And they don't have a plan right now. What is their plan?
They don't have one that are all rallied around. There are plenty of ideas being kicked around by senators and congressmen for years, but it's a matter of
They
actually getting
had
everybody
over-
together.
They had over many, many years to get something together. I mean, Trump, his time off from being out of the office for 4 years, he should have and could have came up with a plan. But he said he had a concept of one. I forgot. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, but to Auburn football right quick.
But
man,
hold on real quick. It would be the dumbest thing on earth, even if Trump had the plan, to try to sit there and lay out a healthcare plan. Because, number one, who really could do that in a soundbite? Even if you had 2 hours on Joe Rogan, how many folks could go on Joe Rogan right now and explain why Obamacare was hailed as this wonderful, great thing and was going to work?
But they stripped the thing all the way down. They should have had this part of their Project 25. They should have been included in that some kind of way. I mean, you know, something besides just talk.
There are a few ideas that have been out there. I mean, there's things like affinity pools. So, like, if you're in a certain line of work, you don't have the same like state line restrictions. So, you know, if you're in the talk radio host, that's a bad example. Not many of us left. It's like I'm on a
In other
sinking
words,
ship.
it's just damn talk right now. In other words, just talking about it. I heard one guy say,
Well, I'll put it.
We got so we
yeah.
make.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. It is so messed up. Healthcare in this nation is so screwed up. And if you try to change it, you're going to screw somebody over. That I think everybody's doing just that. Talk for the moment.
Yeah. But back to my Auburn football team. The past 2 weekends, I pull it for the other team. That's how bad it is for me with Auburn. So I'm so glad that it happened. Got this ball out of there. But
Who do you want?
who would be a good choice? I don't know. Who's out there right now? What's there?
Well, I don't have I'm not a junkie into college football and like I'm not consuming all that. My mind's elsewhere. But I have always loved a particular football coach. He won us a Super Bowl after we did a big old trade for him. And he had a great team there with like Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber and John Lynch, Booger McFarland. Then you had Brad Johnson on the other side of the ball and Keyshawn Johnson. I'm talking about John Gruden. I would love to see John Gruden come out of retirement and coach the Auburn Tigers.
You think money will get him there, though?
Maybe. I don't think it's a money thing. I think Gruden would be up for a really worthwhile gig. It's just, does Gruden fit the Auburn, say, culture?
Money would help get him there, you know. They
got money.
We need so they need to do it and buy a quarterback too at the same time. They'll buy 2 or 3 quarterbacks.
Amen.
You know, so anyhow,
I think we should bring back letting the sophomores and juniors sleep with the players. It's great for recruiting.
Yeah, you know something.
Right. All voluntary, of course. It'll be democratic prostitution. Real prostitution's never been tried.
Yeah. I mean, they're selling it anyhow nowadays, so you know.
Right.
All right, man, go.
Appreciate it, dude. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program, in fact, the entire hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon. They can help you out. Whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance that current home. And with interest rates coming down, as we just had that conversation with Austin Barenko, now's the time to at least start the process, start the conversation. You don't want to be caught unprepared, flat-footed, no pre-approval, none of these things when it's really time to hit that market and make the best possible deal for yourself. And that's Alabama Home Mortgage that can walk you through and say, okay, here's how we get primed and ready to go. And when you're ready to pull the trigger, we'll be right there, and they'll walk with you every step of the way from pre-approval all the way to closing day. They can also help you with a refinance deal to get debt off your back. A lot of issues there in that regard in this nation, or maybe you're looking to bring down monthly overhead costs, especially as you're in or getting near retirement, or whatever your goals. They can help you there at Alabama Home Mortgage. Just start the conversation today at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector. That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig? No, but it looks like you do. And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich? What's that? I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man. You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist? That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE. You know, I've heard a lot of good things about David Ernest. You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience. Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold. That's right, man. And I can see that you don't have very much experience. What do you mean, man? Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach. Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small and then kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich. Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first. You think he's got a shovel? Never know till you ask. I dig, man.
For more than 50 years, the Tears family's been keeping the river region flowing with Roto-Rooter. From drain cleaning to septic repair and installation, no job's too big or too messy with a local team you can trust. So when water won't go where it's supposed to, call the hometown experts who've been serving Montgomery for over half a century. That's 272-7130. Or visit rotorooteralabama.com. And remember,
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. What is a smart way to buy a house in today's market? Now is a good time to buy since we now have a more balanced market than we've had in years. Here are the steps. First step, get pre-qualified with an experienced local lender. It costs you nothing to find out firsthand whether you can qualify for a home and how much that home loan will cost. Second step, hire a local realtor with lots of experience that can guide you, advise you, and be your advocate. We call those buyer agents. Third step, decide what your wants and needs have to be. Bedrooms, baths, floor plan, location, and school zones. Fourth, ask your realtor to line up homes that fit your price category and your location needs. Fifth, start actually looking inside these homes and see what is available and the cost of each property. For all of this information and step-by-step approach, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Pumpkin spice latte season. More like Prattville Carpet Fall sale season, when you can buy a square foot of tile, luxury vinyl plank, or carpet for way less than a coffee that tastes like a candle. I'm talking $1.39 a square foot. That's way cheaper than the big box stores. And Prattville will throw in friendly, helpful customer service for free. That's the big difference.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Shop the fall sale now at prattvillecarpet.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hello there. This is Dr. Sam, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Frequency sells. The more ads you can get on the air, the better the chance it'll make an impact. Radio allows advertisers an inexpensive way to get their voice heard over and over again. Contact me, Dr. Sam, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business. Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It is a great Wednesday forecast today with plenty of sunshine and a high temperature up to about 77. Tonight, still back down to the 40s, but not as cool as it has been. I think the warming trend continues tomorrow and Friday with highs in the upper 70s to near 80. Showers and thunderstorms on Friday night out ahead of the first of 3 frontal systems that'll move through over the weekend. Even though we'll be in the 70s Saturday and Sunday, get ready for an Arctic plunge of temperatures by the beginning of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Ready to borrow smarter this season? Apply online in minutes at yourasecu.com. Call 334-270-9011 or visit your local branch today.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASD.
Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Well, it's on the top of mind. Another opportunity in this Veterans Week. There's the 32nd annual Alabama Veterans Fundraiser No Tap Tournament. This will be Sunday, November 9th. Shift times 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. at Bama Lanes in Main Street, 1714 Main Street, Bama Lanes there in Prattville, Alabama. It's open to the public, benefits veterans, hospitals, and nursing homes. There will be men and women's divisions. You can sign up 1 hour prior to each shift. So if you want to bowl at 1 p.m., get there at noon or a little before noon is actually on time, or also 3 p.m., get there around 2, if not a little before 2. You got to be 18 or older to enter. There's going to be door prizes, a lot of fun, a lot of surprises there. And again, this will go to be helping veterans direct. It's no tap, meaning 9 pins count as a strike. Nearly everyone's going to win a door prize. Every dollar collected stays here in Alabama. So y'all check that out. Again, that's 32nd annual Alabama Veterans Fundraiser No Tap Tournament. Friend reached out, texted that to me, wanted to make sure I got that out over the airwaves. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Now, as I go through all this stuff that's happening in this world, I'm sitting here going, can we not do another war? And if it's like a quick strike and stuff, like whatever, okay. But I mean, don't get into another long, protracted war of choice. Well, what about in our own backyard in the Western Hemisphere? No. I don't want you to do it in the Middle East. I don't want you to do it in Australia. I don't want you to do it in the South China Sea. I don't want you to do it in the Indian Ocean. I don't want war, long protracted war anywhere, not even Venezuela. But apparently, this could be just wishful thinking being cooked up in the press. Trump is weighing multiple attack options for Venezuela. And the question becomes, will the U.S. seize oil fields? And this is, of course, the New York Times pushing this, saying Trump weighs his options and risk for attacks on Venezuela. My hope is saner minds there in the administration understand that a better way to go about this might be to threaten, but not actually go ahead and pull that trigger. The Times writes, Mr. Trump's aides have asked the Justice Department for additional guidance that could provide a legal basis for any military action beyond the current campaign of striking boats that the administration says are trafficking narcotics without providing evidence. Such guidance could include a legal rationale for targeting Mr. Maduro, the president there, or so-called president, without creating the need for congressional authorization for the use of military force, much less a declaration of war. Why? Well, I guess it's because the Constitution, especially on the question of war, doesn't mean squat anymore. When's the last time we declared a frickin' war? Like outright. Oh, no, we can't do that. I mean, it means the U.S. is going to nuke you. If we actually declare war, you're getting nuked. But it's democratic nukes. You know what I mean? Like, you just add the word democratic in front of everything. It's what I'm learning from the Democratic Socialists. It kind of makes everything a little bit better. While the guidance that the DOJ might give Trump is still being drafted, some administration officials expect it will argue that Mr. Maduro and his top security officials are central figures in the Cartel de los Soles, or however that's said, which the administration has designated a narco-terrorist group. The Justice Department is expected to contend that designation makes Mr. Maduro a legitimate target, despite long-standing American legal prohibitions on assassinating national leaders. I hope that's just happy talk or just trying to drum things up and float trial balloons and not an actual march to war. The Russians, using kind of a lateral move, say Putin's going to deliver a new air defense system to Venezuela, and then Russia threatened to send its most advanced hypersonic nuclear missiles to Venezuela. America may be in for some surprises. But again, I don't even know who said that. Was that Putin or was that Medvedev? It wasn't even that. A guy named Alexei, a Russia's Parliamentary Defense Committee deputy chairman. Okay. So I'm hoping this is just a bunch of talk at this moment. I think J.D. Vance, as I said earlier, has the right instinct. I think so many folks have the right instinct there in the administration of let's get out of all these frickin' wars of choice and let's focus on America. Let's actually focus on this nation for once, rebuilding this nation. Last night, to a degree, should be a wake-up call. There have been a lot of promises. There's been a lot of action. Trump's up there dancing on stage. He's doing this thing. He's doing this and that thing. If you're watching the stream, you can see what I'm doing. I'm mimicking him exactly. He's speaking at the America Business Forum. All these great things. America is proud, confident, and growing, Trump said. But does the everyday person feel it? That's the question. Does the everyday person feel it? In 272-9228. But Trump has renominated somebody. He's renominated billionaire Jared Isaacman to lead NASA. Trump originally announced Isaacman as his pick in December, then pulled the nomination 5 months later. And it looks like Isaacman is going to be back on the job. Jared's passion for space, astronaut experience, and dedication to pushing the boundaries of exploration, unlocking the mysteries of the universe, and advancing the new space economy make him ideally suited to lead NASA in a bold new era, Trump said on Truth Social. If confirmed, Isaacman would take over the leadership of NASA from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who's been the interim administrator there for NASA for the last few months. In a statement on X, Isaacman thanked Trump for the opportunity. The support from the space-loving community has been overwhelming. I am not sure how I earned the trust of so many, but I will do everything I can to live up to those expectations. Isaacman also acknowledged the challenges ahead as NASA faces an aggressive timeline to return astronauts to the moon, saying the journey is never easy, but it is time to inspire the world once again to achieve the near impossible, to undertake and accomplish big, bold endeavors in space. Isaacman, who's only 42 years old, is seen as a relative outsider to lead the space agency. The founder and CEO of the payment processing company Shift4, Isaacman has never worked at NASA or in the federal government. Sounds great to me. Like, more of that, please. Like, seriously, if you're not able to work and run one of these agencies, unless you've actually been in the system, man. No, I think NASA, like every other group there, needs a wake-up call and needs to be right-sized and retrofitted quickly for new missions. But the thing is, okay, he's never worked for NASA or the federal government. Isaacman has, however, flown to space twice. He's been in space twice on commercial SpaceX missions. Isaacman funded both of those space flights himself for an undisclosed sum. Now, that's got to be nice. You got so much money, you can go on your own private space flight? Trump originally announced Isaacman as his pick in December 2024, but 5 months later, he pulled it after what he described as a thorough review of prior associations. Trump did not provide details, but some Republicans had raised concerns that Isaacman had previously donated to Democrats. Isaacman, if confirmed this time, would take the helm at NASA in a moment of great upheaval at the space agency. Like other parts of the federal government, NASA has undergone major cuts to funding and personnel as part of the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the size of the federal workforce. NASA has shed about 1/5 of its staff, including more than 2,000 senior-level employees, since Trump took office. Last month, the agency's Jet Propulsion Laboratory announced that it would cut 550 jobs, which would amount to around 10% of its workforce. The space agency is also facing the possibility of steep budget cuts. President Trump's budget blueprint proposed cutting more than $6 billion, or roughly 24%, from NASA funding. And as the government shutdown stretches on, many questions about NASA's future remain unanswered. This is all playing out amid a new space race between the U.S. and China. Both countries are vying to establish a long-term human presence on the moon. NASA wants to land astronauts there on the moon in 2027. Through that time, though that timeline has slipped before and could again. China, meanwhile, has said it plans to land its own astronauts on the lunar surface by 2030. Elon Musk, the founder and CEO of SpaceX, was once a close Trump ally and heavily backed Isaacman when Trump first nominated him. I think Musk and Trump are actually back to being pretty tight with one another. Trump's decision to pull that nomination coincided with that public ugly feud between Musk and the president. Trump announced on Tuesday that he's renominated Isaacman, came 2 weeks after Musk's attack on Duffy on X. Oh no, attacks. The interim NASA administrator provoked Musk's ire when he announced that the agency would open up a contract that SpaceX currently holds to build a moon lander, allowing bids from rival companies. So Musk took to X to voice his displeasure at Duffy's statements, calling him Sean Dummy and saying the acting administrator is trying to kill NASA. Musk's reaction to Isaacman's renomination was celebratory but subdued. The billionaire entrepreneur reposted Trump's True Social announcement on X, adding 3 emojis, a heart, a rocket, and an American flag. So we'll see. But Jared Isaacman has been promising a lot of big changes there to NASA. There was this thing called Project Athena that had been leaked and making the rounds and stuff. I think in particular, Alabama's interest had a lot of questions about Isaacman's plans with, the Marshall Center, Space Flight Center, and all these things, all these different assets there. What are these major interests in the northern part of our state going to be able to do if you're going to change everything up there? But it looks like Isaacman was able to subdue concerns. So I always liked the guy when I first saw him nominated in December, and I was happy to find anybody talented. But you know what? Good to see it come back there. And it seems like there has been a bit of a healing process with the Musk camp and the Trump camp. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Big news! Phillips Dunn Animal Hospital has a new name. But don't worry, everything you love is still the same. Now they're Pike Road Animal Hospital, still at 5148 Troy Highway. Still the same great team you've trusted for years. Same friendly faces, same expert care, just a new name, and still offering boarding, grooming, and doggy daycare. Pike Road Animal Hospital, formerly Phillips Dunn Animal Hospital. New name, same heart. Compassion you know, care that you trust.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm all right today. I think I'm all right. What's the score there today at Cohen's?
Oh, it's like 21-0.
Ooh.
Had Michael Jacks out yesterday, going out to service some stuff for a customer. We had a couple of them in Troy yesterday that he went to. And, so he always tries to think ahead, and he took some of the stuff that he thought was defective. And anyway, ends up going down there and installing a new television. And there was something else a new audio receiver made by Sony, nice Sony ES model.
Nice.
And anyway, got the guy back up. He's running. Everything works great. Customer's happy. Michael Jacks is happy. So win-win.
Yeah, I mean, how many y'all are undefeated so far? I've been asking for weeks and not months now, and it seems like y'all are able to really take care of folks. And this is what I love, folks. Sometimes you know what you want exactly. You want that product, and you're going to go with it. But there's always that question of service, and like, who are you inviting into your home? Who are you actually dealing with? And when you're dealing with Cohen's, you're dealing with folks that, well, it's like a family over there at Cohen's, right?
Well, and it's amazing to me how many customers have told me, I'll just leave the door unlocked. I trust Michael to come in and do what he needs to do. You don't have to call me, just send him.
There you go.
And, he got out to one lady's house, and she lives out in the country, and she was still there. But, they kind of met each other in the hall of her house because he just walked in like she told him to do. And anyway, he gets in there and gets her television all fixed up for her, and she's all happy. He gives her a little school, and he's on his way. It's just we have those customers at the lake that do that to us, and we also have them. A lot of them in Montgomery will do it. The ones that are still working and everything where they're not at home.
There you go. So, folks, if you want to kind of shop online, peruse the website, you can always go to thinkcohens.com. But I say stop by the Boulevard. See them in person there at 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And find Michael and be like, hey, I heard you on that show with that Joey Clark guy.
That's right. And just so everybody knows, for Black Friday, that Friday and that Saturday, we're going to have different hours. We'll be open from 8 until 3 on those 2 days.
Okay. Very cool. Right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
y'all have a great day. Come see us.
Appreciate you, Michael. Again, that's Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances, great sponsor here of the program. Again, 272-9228. If you want to get in on the conversation, that's 334-272-9228. Oh, by the way, Coach Tuberville agrees with Trump.
Of course he does.
Wait, are you surprised at that? No. Yeah, Tuberville and Trump usually are on the same page. But this was Trump this morning before getting on Air Force One to go speak in Miami. And he's encouraging senators to, get rid of that old relic. What did Joe Biden call it? Like the old racist relic of the filibuster? I would love to see Trump just to have fun, be like, it's a big racist thing. We got to get rid of it. Let's listen in.
I think it's very important. We have to get the country open. And the way we're going to do it this afternoon is to terminate the filibuster. And it's possible you're not going to do that. And I'm going to go by your wishes. You're very smart people. We're good friends. But I think it's a tremendous mistake, really. It would be a tragic mistake, actually. It's time. It's time. If I thought they weren't going to approve, I'd sort of be with you. I'd be fine. I'd be neutral to with you. But knowing that they're going to pass it as soon as they get any semblance of control, they'll pass it first thing. Then it's like we have to do it first. And we have 2 years, and we'll end up with 2-3 years, and we'll have this country so perfect. We will have passed more legislation than any Congress and any group of senators or a group of congressmen. And we will get it through. They'll send it to us. We'll send it to them. It'll be a beautiful machine. Otherwise, we're just going to sit around and argue with these people all day long. And they're highly unrealistic, highly unrealistic.
Yeah,
Many
no
of them
kidding.
are radical left subversives, right?
And then the other senator here in Alabama, one Katie Britt, is trying to negotiate a deal because she's on the powerful Appropriations Committee. They say appropriations is a bit of an aphrodisiac. They say power in particular is an aphrodisiac. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. I just want you to know that. Because the power on appropriations, steamy. Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The federal government shutdown has extended to day 36, making it the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Senate Republicans and President Trump continue their negotiations on spending with no end in sight. Meanwhile, the president continues to urge Senate Republicans to use their majority to end the Senate filibuster. He says without it, they won't be able to enact their agenda. And if they lose the majority, he says that Democrats will do it anyway. Election takeaways from yesterday. Democrats claiming key wins in New York City, New Jersey, and the state of Virginia. California voters approved Proposition 50, viewed as a rebuke of President Trump and a strong indicator for the 2026 midterm elections. Food assistance via SNAP being affected nationwide with increased strain on low-income families and local food banks because the Democrats continue to vote against reopening the federal government. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. It's more than just great prices on lumber. From Trex decking to energy-efficient windows and Tamco shingles, Alabama Wholesale Lumber has it all.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It is a great Wednesday forecast today with plenty of sunshine and a high temperature up to about 77. Tonight, still back down to the 40s, but not as cool as it has been. I think the warming trend continues tomorrow and Friday with highs in the upper 70s to near 80. Showers and thunderstorms on Friday night out ahead of the first of 3 frontal systems that'll move through over the weekend. Even though we'll be in the 70s Saturday and Sunday, get ready for an Arctic plunge of temperatures by the beginning of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville took to the U.S. Senate floor to honor 2 veterans living here in Alabama. Tuberville made this move ahead of the Veterans Day holiday, which will occur next week.
Our state is home to nearly 500,000 veterans, including America's oldest living Marine and World War II veteran, my friend, Mr. Roy Drinkard of Cullman, Alabama. I was proud to be with Roy earlier this year as he celebrated his 105th birthday. He is still going strong with no signs of slowing down. Alabama is also home to Army Master Sergeant Harvey Mathis of Enterprise, Alabama. Harvey said that his legacy of military service can be traced all the way back to the Revolutionary War. He retired from the military in 2000 after almost 25 years of service. Harvey then entered the police academy at the age of 42 so that he could continue to protect and serve as a law enforcement officer.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Brian Dawson here, CEO of 1819 News. I'm also the host of 1819 News, the podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having a conversation across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
Today, a Turning Point USA event will be held on the campus of Auburn University with members of President Trump's family taking part. Eric and Laura Trump will speak to the students, as well as U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville and podcaster Benny Johnson. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark, and we have James on the line here. Hey, James, how you doing?
So, Joey, how are you?
I'm all right now. Yeah, just another day.
Are you thinking about putting your app in for the long-term stay on the moon?
Maybe. Depends on the day. Today, I kind of like Earth, but if they actually develop a colony on the moon or Mars, I might sign up.
I'm not sure I'm interested. As much as I do not like to disagree with you, Joey, and you know where I stand there. Excuse me. That was at the House Appropriations Bill, steamy.
Man, I'm telling you, man, power's an aphrodisiac, and there's a lot of power on that appropriations committee. I don't want to tell any tales out of school about like Leahy and Shelby and stuff, but come on.
I think maybe we might need a cold shower.
Oh, no, man, I got that. This ain't high school.
Okay.
This ain't middle school.
I don't want to disagree with you, man. Why you calling out the baby boomers and things like that? But oh gosh, since I done stepped off on that trail,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen pictures of AOC.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier you were talking about how, let's call her attractive. I just don't see it. Dark hair, dark eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
red lipstick. I just don't even know. I don't see it. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong angle.
What, are you more a fan of black women?
How can I answer this, Joey? In a matter of speaking, not necessarily.
I'm just trying to understand your type. You're allowed to.
My type?
Yeah, you're the one who brought all this up. You don't like the dark hair, the dark eyes?
No. I'm not suggesting I don't like the dark hair. I'm just saying that is not the slam dunk of, I've got nothing against brunettes or ladies with hair like a crow or redheads. The woman I married was a redhead.
Oh my!
Yeah, and that was, but that's another topic entirely. But just because I made one terrible awful mistake as far as who I picked. It doesn't mean that I'm not. I mean, you know where I am there. I mean, you're out searching for a set of twins, right? and see, that's another reason I called. I just got the roast on. You know, women are looking for men with a skill set, some kind of skills, and so I just got the roast on. Okay, it's what is it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
And I got the roast cooking at 2:00, so about 3:30. Oh, excuse me, 3.5 hours, 5:30. That's another thing, man. I've been sick the last couple of days, and my mind is just, you know, something I'm whew. I mean, you follow me?
Yeah, but I mean, I thought the agreement though we signed a cost plus contract, right? So I'm still working on it.
Cost plus.
Yeah,
I didn't realize I signed a contract, but okay.
Well, like in spirit.
Careful what I agree to, right, Joe?
Right. Yeah, careful who you call.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
No, I
Okay.
appreciate the call, man. I appreciate you messing with me all the time.
I was listening to you yesterday, and your buddy on there, he was like, he got on the wrong side of the Bitcoin issue. He said, you know, and that's why they want Bitcoin, because they want to control us. And I was waiting for the next shoe to drop, but I never heard that.
Yeah, you gotta pick your spots and your arguments. They already control us.
Well, I mean, who am I to argue with Joey Clark?
Well, but you know, all you gold bugs out there, if the crap really hits the fan, good luck moving that gold.
Bugs?
Yeah, that's a common term. Gold bugs. People that are really bullish on gold.
Oh, well, I don't have any, and I'm not that bullish on it. Here's what I'll tell you about gold. People have been trying to sell me gold for 20 years. And here's what I'll say about that. Can you eat it?
Nah, man.
What you need to invest in are some goats and some chickens. And there's actually, gosh, I'm not sure if that's a website or a business, but I'm traveling the last month, you know, here and there, back and forth, and I hear something related to goats and chickens. And I'm like, I remember when so-and-so said that's what you need to invest in instead of gold. But what gets me is where you got this cat, he's for his gold, his people, whatever the company is. And then you're listening to the radio a little longer, and then some other dude comes out for this outfit. And, I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean, and so just make sure, Joey, I'm going to make sure when I get ready to buy my gold, I'm going to call you first, because I know you'll have the right gold people.
Yeah, no, and I'm still the Bitcoin guy. And in terms of returns, it's it's still up 50% year over year, even being down a little bit in the last few days. So
a couple of months ago, I met this man in Food Outlet in Prattville. And I'm walking down through there, and I'm trying to, I have a product in Food Outlet that you probably know or don't know and don't care. It doesn't matter either way. And I'm trying to convince him he needs to go check out my product. Well, he's looking around, and he tells me what his family history is. And, well, there was something that was ongoing in the 1800s, and he wanted to make sure that there, you know, he wasn't necessarily overheard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling me, he says, I got this phone call, and it was from this woman trying to sell me Bitcoin. And then he was telling me what he told her, that when Bitcoin first hit the market back whenever, that's when he got in, and he called himself a Bitcoin whale.
Oh my.
That's what he said.
And he still shops at Food Outlet, which he's a frugal multimillionaire, billionaire.
I mean, I'm looking at this dude like, and I bet I can't convince you to go up there and buy one of my products. Joey, excuse me, it's always a pleasure, brother.
Appreciate it, James. 272-9228. We can kick around whatever, folks, whatever. Again, Tommy Tuberville's come out. He'll be in Auburn tonight with the whole tour for Turning Point USA and honoring Charlie Kirk and his memory. But the other senator here in Alabama, because she's on the powerful Appropriations Committee, she's apparently been trying to work a deal with some of the
more moderate Democrats, if that makes any sense, but a few exist still as institutionalists there in the United States Senate. But here's Katie yesterday talking about the Schumer shutdown.
Well, first off, Harris, it's absolutely ridiculous that we're in this position. I mean, you just heard and played Chuck Schumer talk about all of the damage that's being done across America because he is demanding a ransom payment to give these people an opportunity. That is absolutely despicable. If you take his words and what he is saying is happening to America, he and the Democrats could have made sure that none of this happened long ago. With the CR that we've given them, a clean CR, allowing them to open the government, allowing WIC to be funded, allowing no SNAP benefits to go not given out. It would allow military to be paid. It allows small business owners to be able to get these loans. It would allow America to keep moving and thriving, and they have chosen to put their own political advantage over the people that they serve. Well,
Got the messaging down. But the thing is, I think a lot of Democrats are enjoying the pain and chaos because how can we ever be blamed for any of that? It's so easy to say Donald Trump took away your food stamps. Why would we give in? But they might just very well give in. It was more threats and more things come up. Now, speaking of Charlie Kirk, and this is a big event again there at Auburn tonight, I'm not going because honestly, I'm just at an age of I've been to plenty of political events and all sorts of stuff. I'll let a lot of folks do their thing over there. But there's a clip been making the rounds today. I think Jack Posobiec shared this. He was good friends with Charlie Kirk. No, excuse me. No, this is Colin Rugg. And this is Charlie's message about the spiritual battle ahead. Let's listen in together.
But the spiritual battle is coming to the West. And the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low-crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school. While also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Everybody, if you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us. And it's time that the church stands and rises up against it.
Yep. Well said. And I think more and more of those clips will continue to be played, and some a bit more prophetic than others. The spiritual battle is coming. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Now we have Tuberville and Britt reacting to Mandami, as I've been reacting all day. Both condemn the results, of course. Mandami, a member of the New York State Assembly, defeated Andrew Cuomo. Good for him. On X, after the election was called, Tuberville bluntly labeled Mandami an idiot and stressed his allegiance is to Islam, not to America. Again, Tuberville put out on X, Mandami's allegiance is to Islam, not to America. And we elected this idiot to be the mayor of New York City. It's a disgrace, and it's embarrassing. In a follow-up post, the senator said America's largest city is digging its own grave. Mandami is Islam first and America last, Tuberville declared. New York is digging its own grave. Katie Britt took to X, arguing that Mandami and other voices in the liberal victories of those voices across the United States on Tuesday weren't a referendum. She said, tonight, Democrats elected a socialist to run the financial capital of the world and an attorney general who is on the record fantasizing about murdering children.
These elections aren't a referendum on where the country is. They're a referendum on where the Democratic Party is. She then goes on to say, reacting to when Mandami said, "We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about." Katie Britt responded, "When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Democrats across the country are embracing socialism and radical extremism at every level." So, not a surprise, but that is definitely where both senators took this. And honestly, at this point, I really can't blame them. Also, did you see, and I had a few people call and ask about it, but I don't live in Elmore County, but I know a lot of y'all who listen live in Elmore County, and I love you all the same. Actually, I'm kind of thinking about maybe down the road moving. Maybe I'll join y'all before too long because of this jackass we have running the city here. Anyway, I digress, but Elmore County voters overwhelmingly rejected a new tax and property assessment plan known as Enhance Elmore at the polls on Tuesday. According to unofficial returns on Tuesday night, voters rejected the measure by 93% to 7%. Holy crap. But it was a total of 843 votes in favor of the plan, while 12,038 voted against. Let me say that again. That lost 93 to the 7%. 843 votes in favor of this Enhanced Elmore tax plan and 12,038 against. I think I might with Elmore County. Y'all hate taxes just as much as me. The local constitutional amendment on the ballot on Tuesday would have levied a 4.5 county-wide tax increase on the wholesale purchase of tobacco and vape products. Under the amendment, Elmore County property owners would also have been required to pay a $300 assessment fee for commercial property, a $150 assessment fee for residential property, and a $25 assessment for land-only parcels. The additional revenue would have gone to county fire service improvements and a new jail. Opponents of the plan argued that the county didn't need the revenue and that the new assessment would be a burden on property owners. And I guess the opponents won. Holy crap. Essentially 800-something against 12,000 folks. Elmore County has certainly spoken, but I was not expecting that margin. Good for you guys. And then continuing on with the AEA saga, we talked to Stephanie Smith with Alabama Policy Institute yesterday, but John Wall took the airwaves with Dale Jackson and then Jeff Poore recently. And he said, "For me, this is what good leadership has to do." He told Jeff Poore that he does have to essentially reach out and clarify. Like, he's got to make relationships with even people that he might suspect are not his friends in the political process. Alabama Daily News quoted Alabama Education Association Executive Director Amy Marlowe, who said, "It seems like we've gone backwards because we used to have laws in Alabama where, as a last stop, the school system could find kids that went missing. Maybe they moved or are homeschooling, but that was an extra safety net to make sure Alabama's children were safe." Oh. Wall pushed back, saying, "I'm tired of watching conservatives be on the back foot. We get in the middle of a session and something comes up that we all knew was coming, and then we haven't set the narrative. We're on the back foot, and it gets pushed through at the last minute because conservative leaders didn't want to be proactive and didn't take a stand on it." Wall described facing pushback from people within the party who are critical of any trust or conversation with the AAA after he released a press statement highlighting assurances he received from the group they would not seek to undermine the rights of homeschool parents. "Do I regret having gotten in the fight and protecting educational freedom and standing up for homeschoolers and the right of parents to be in charge of children's education?" Wall asked. Absolutely not. Doesn't regret it at all. And of course, the Alabama GOP platform states explicitly, "We support options for learning, including public education, parochial and private schools, charter schools, homeschooling, magnet schools, and technical and vocational education. We recognize and support parental rights in their child's education." Wall ends with this, saying, "The bottom line here This was not a phone call to the AAA where I'm like buddying up to them or there's some kind of love affair. This is about the fact that I wanted to hold the AEA accountable, and that's why I called him, Wall explained. And I think transparency is important with communication, especially if you're dealing with a party that has not earned your trust, which is where AEA is at with me right now. They have not earned my trust. I do not believe them. Well, thank you for that clarification, John. I really do appreciate it, because that's my general sense. Not that these are like the worst people ever. No, it's just like y'all are not on the team. You act like you tried to be on the team and have all this big input and stuff. But often you are either slow walking or opposing things I think the vast majority of Alabamians want. So we'll see. But I don't think the rebranding of the AEA is going as smoothly as people would have liked. How about this? Let me hit a break, and I will be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
I bought your Christmas present, and it's custom so you can't return it.
What is it? Where'd you get it?
Delta Printing. I ordered monogrammed wine glasses for my sister, photo ornaments for Grandma's tree. I also got Mom custom table linens and printed your face on golf balls for your brother.
Delta can do all that? I thought they were just business printing and signs.
Nope. Delta Printing and Sign can do it all.
Delta Printing and Sign. Your one stop for Christmas cards, custom gifts, business cards, and more. Visit letdeltadoit.com. or call 271-COPY.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM, WHBP.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I want to say thank you to the 5 people on the Montgomery City Council that voted for, well, a requirement that the council approve all mayoral contracts above $50,000. And I particularly want to thank Councilman Andrew Szymanski for leading on this, truly. The resolution had been brought up multiple times at past meetings, but it was finally approved again Tuesday. Councilman Szymanski said at the Tuesday meeting that requiring council approval for contracts over $50,000 was, quote unquote, a reasonable cap. We've talked ad nauseum about how this is not unique to Montgomery, Birmingham, Mobile, Auburn, etc. They've all done this, Szymanski said. The law gives us the power to approve contracts, and as I've said before, I believe that is what's in the best interest of the taxpayer and citizen dollars. Just because we haven't done it before doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do. Hear, hear. And I think the 50,000 threshold, yeah, it's one thing if it's a smaller contract and time is of the essence. I think anybody reasonable can get that. But this sort of check on mayoral contracts by the council is, well, I think just good government at this point, but some might see it differently. Tweeting, like quoting Sulla at 1 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, the mayor put out some tweet quoting Sulla or something like that. Sulla? I don't know my Romans that much. What are you doing tweeting at like 1 in the morning, Barcelona time, dude? Just odd. Anyway, appreciate the council passing that in. Appreciate Szymanski, Andrew Szymanski, leading on that particular issue. Now, I got to hit another break coming up. But with all the talk of, like, especially after the Mandami election, and Trump and team doubling down on we need to deport folks, J.D. Vance the other day saying we need to limit also legal immigration. Maybe we've had too much legal immigration. I think J.D.'s on to something there. Well, what does it actually cost about like migration, like each migrant? How much does it actually cost? Well, a study was done, especially with the place that's had a lot of mass migration called Europe. Now you can see with your own eyes what's going on. But here, we hadn't played this gentleman in a while, is Peter St. Onge to explain the actual cost per a migrant. Let's listen in. This is Peter St. Onge on Europe's migrant disaster.
A pair of studies puts in raw numbers just how catastrophic mass migration has been for a Europe that seems hell-bent on destroying itself, in case you wonder what would happen if Biden or Cackles had won. The first comes from the University of Netherlands and tallies up the cost-benefit of migrants by country of origin in terms of public spending. So taxes paid versus welfare, free housing, free healthcare, free education. It finds the typical migrant from the US, Canada, Western Europe, or Japan generates $500,000 in net benefits per migrant. In other words, much more taxes paid than benefits received. But the average migrant from North Africa or Pakistan is negative $300,000. Afghanistan and Syria are negative $500,000. Sub-Saharan Africa is negative $300,000 to $600,000 per migrant. Wow. It actually keeps going to the second generation, where Middle East and African migrants cost another $500,000 per person. Note, the second generation can be 3 times larger than the first, since they have lots of babies when they are paid to. In U.S. terms, scaled to GDP, these costs come to $500 billion per year for migrants. Keep in mind, this is just public spending. It does not include crime, which brings us to the second study by the Danish government, which followed 321 Palestinian refugees admitted en masse in 1992. 30 years later, it turns out 64% were convicted of a serious crime, 55% were on government welfare, 40% were deemed unemployable, meaning welfare for life. Incidentally, even in the second generation, which tripled to 999 migrants, half were on public benefits, 34% had committed a serious crime, which is roughly 40 times the criminal rate of native Danes. A separate Swedish study found Palestinian migrants are 23 times more likely to commit rape than native Swedes. Tunisians are 40 times, Afghans 50 times, Algerians are 90 times more likely to rape. Of course, European media drown these numbers in pro-migrant propaganda, while so-called hate speech laws censor Europeans from the truth. Still, the truth is leaking out. For the first time in history, right populists are now the most popular party in all three big Europeans, so France, Germany, and the UK. Nearly a third of young Spanish men are now right populists. Germany's close behind, despite a relentless media campaign tarring populists as fascists, which carries enormous social taboo in Germany. So we can only imagine what those numbers would be without media censorship and bias. So as next brought to you by I Trust Capital, Europe's populists will take longer to gain power, partly because of the media and censorship, partly because the populists are new to politics and will be clumsy at first, and partly because a huge share of Europeans work for government and will vote for the establishment that pays their checks. But the tide is shifting, and when populists do gain power, change will come much harder in the U.S., because Europe has far fewer checks, balances, and lawsuits than the U.S., meaning a majority government in Europe can pretty much do what it likes, even if it is populist. Europe's globalists know this, which is why they are fighting so hard to keep the truth from their own people. But the harder they fight, the longer they delay, the harder it falls. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Again, that's Peter St. Onge, and I didn't realize, dadgum, that's damning. Very, very costly. And how about the things that aren't as easy to quantify as well? We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
Hi, this is Carol Kennedy with Camo Country, and we've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for many years, and we appreciate Blue Water Broadcasting helping promote Camo Country.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this. Listen close. You get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our temperature moderation continues. Even the nights are not quite as cool as they had been. Overnight low temperature tonight down to about 47, so still jacket weather. But the days are warmer. I think we have mostly sunny skies with highs in the upper 70s to near 80 on Thursday and Friday. The next risk of scattered showers and thunderstorms holding off till Friday night, out ahead of the first of 3 fronts that'll move through. Over the weekend, I think we'll still have daytime highs in the 70s, but look for a big temperature plunge by the beginning of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Ready to borrow smarter this season? Apply online in minutes at yourasecu.com. Call 334-270-9011 or visit your local branch today.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASD.
Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Live local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. It looks like broke a little while ago. Jacob Frey or Fry or whatever his name is, the guy who was mayor when Minneapolis was burning during the Summer of Love after George Floyd's demise. Well, that guy just won a third term in Minneapolis. He defeated the Somali Marxist. So we didn't get full-on Somali Marxist, but we're still going to be dealing with Jacob. Ugh. Guess folks wanted to give him a second chance, I suppose. But the big question coming out of these elections last night is what does this portend, if I could use that word correctly? I think I'm using it correctly. Who knows? What does that mean for the midterm election? And it's been a while since we've heard somebody kind of lay out what has the Trump administration gotten done in the first 9 months? It's only been 9 months. Does it feel like 9 months? Feels like a lot longer than that to me, especially certain periods of this saga. But in a way, that's a good thing. You know, those days that seem like they go forever, but in a good way, because you just got your calendar so busy and you get to see new people, new experiences. It keeps that energy going. I have not had one of those days in a long time. I'm stuck in here. Maybe not forever. Anyway, Caroline Leavitt, who, by the way, she was wearing a dark floral pattern yesterday. And I was just looking at the screen there, not even listening. I'm like, she is not in the mood for y'all's crap today. That was the vibe the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, was giving off. But here is Caroline laying out, well, the Trump administration's accomplishments so far. Maybe you'd like to use this in the family fights coming up this Thanksgiving. Let's listen in together.
Tomorrow will mark the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's historic election victory.
Tomorrow's today.
Where he won nearly 80 million votes, the popular vote, in all 7 swing states. This was the ultimate poll on November 5th. The president secured a mandate to make America great again, and he has delivered in record time. Never before have we had a president who has kept their promises like President Trump has. I'd like to go over a few of those with you. In less than 10 short months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cut in history, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security to put more money back into the pockets of the American people. The president ended the southern border invasion of the Biden administration, made our border the most secure in history, and he is carrying out the largest mass deportation campaign of illegal aliens in our nation's history to protect our homeland, just as promised. President Trump has aggressively taken on drug cartels by declaring them as foreign terrorist organizations and even blowing up narco-terrorists who have tried to poison the American people with fentanyl and other illegal narcotics. President Trump defeated the Biden inflation crisis, and he continues to implement a pro-growth, America First economic agenda to make America affordable again. And we are seeing the results of that every day. Inflation has remained low and steady, averaging just 2.5% compared to the painful average of 5% under Biden, and we know it was historically higher than that for most of President Biden's term. Meanwhile, real private sector wages are on track to rise by almost $1,500 since President Trump took office, a significant change to the Biden years where private sector wages declined and were being wiped out by inflation. President Trump has ended the reckless war on American energy and unleashed energy dominance, with gas prices now plummeting to their lowest average levels in more than 4 years. President Trump implemented powerful tariffs to rebalance America's trade deals, protect American workers, and returning our country to be a manufacturing superpower once again. As a result, the president has secured trillions and trillions of dollars in private and foreign investments into the United States, which are creating high-paying jobs for the greatest workforce in the world. The president has restored America's place as the leader of the free world through his unwavering peace through strength foreign policy that has already ended 8 wars and counting. And the president ended illegal DEI initiatives in our federal government and is returning our country to a merit-based society based on common sense. President Trump protected opportunities for women and girls to compete safely and fairly by continuing to keep men out of women's sports. Americans have a president who works tirelessly, literally 24/7, to improve their lives and make our country better than it has ever been before.
No, it's a nice little track record there. Also, speaking today, the Supreme Court has been hearing oral arguments on Trump's tariff regime. Does he actually have the authority to do this? I find it hard to believe the Supreme Court would do this all with the stroke of a pen, saying, no, we're undoing all the tariffs. I have a sense they're not going to go that far. They might go into this like legal slow walk. And without getting into all the legalese, which I don't understand, I just know how to say the word. They'll essentially be like, hey, throw it to a lower court and you'll try to define the exact parameters of this. And then you'll throw that to another court and you'll throw that back to our court here. And we'll try to define the parameters. We don't want it to have like an unlimited presidential power from this statute, from this law that was passed that Trump's leaning on to do all the tariff stuff. So, but we don't want to like immediately take it all away and stuff. He clearly does have some discretion here. So let's just maybe revisit this in 2 or 3 years. That might very well be the outcome. We'll see. And then as we were listening to Caroline Levitt, Fox News was doing a quick report from Auburn, Alabama, from Auburn University campus. And people are already lining up en masse for the Charlie Kirk Turning Point USA event with Coach Tuberville and team. Already starting to line up. I think it's going to be a packed night there at Auburn. And 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program, or any of y'all going over to the Charlie Kirk event. Would love to hear from you. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out if you just don't feel like a man. And what do I mean? Well, number one, I mean you're never in the mood. And you used to always be in the mood. You're like, down, boy, down. Now you're like, can you get up off the couch, boy? Come on, man. Nope, it's just never working. You're never in the mood. You're also starting to see loss of muscle mass. You're getting thicker around the middle. Your sleep patterns are all screwed up. Could be you have low testosterone. And this happens to guys naturally as they get into their 40s, 50s, and 60s. But even guys in their 20s and 30s are having low T issues. So why not, before you use generic online pills that are overpriced and ineffective, get by Montgomery Men's Health, and the urologists and providers there will provide solutions specifically for your body and goals. And it's beyond just testosterone treatments. They also have ED treatments as well as other options many men don't even know exist. And of course, it's always affordable and accessible. Consultation, including blood work, just $99 with results before you leave. Gentlemen, I know I don't like going to the doctor. I know you don't either. I'm no doctor. I'll just power through it. Nuh-uh. Procrastination's only going to make it worse. You only got one life. Live it the right way. Allow Montgomery Men's Health to help you out in that way. Call them up today at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, guys. I just want to say when it comes to the tariffs and all, and I'm going to respect whatever the Supreme Court comes with, but
sure.
I'm just saying when it comes to that, and then Congress wanting to say, that's our power. Well, don't write laws that give the president this power. But I'm glad he's got the power because we got a businessman that's using it the correct way.
Hell yeah.
In other words, he throws a big one on them, but he also reduces it when we're copacetic. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And
and you could argue
anyway,
that, appreciate it, man. And you could argue, hey, don't treat the American people like guinea pigs and you don't have the constitutional authority to do this. But now that we're 9 months, 10 months into this experiment, if I'm a guinea pig, I'd rather you finish the daggum thing. What, you sat there and experimented on me and primed the pump on all these new trade deals only to not actually finish the experiment and bear it out? What a mess. But we'll see what the court decides. Quick break here. Final segment coming up.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
If you think the only job at a broadcast station is in front of a microphone, you're missing some great career opportunities, including advertising sales, promotions, news, business administration, engineering, and more. Learn about these broadcast careers by visiting the Alabama Broadcasters Association's virtual job fair November 3rd through November 7th at broadcastersvirtualjobfair.com. You'll find information about great jobs across the state, as well as specific positions here at Blue Water Broadcasting at broadcastersvirtualjobfair.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Let's go right to the phones. Talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Good. Tell Mark I said hello, and I'll be at church Sunday, Mark, sitting on the back queue waiting on you.
Behave yourself.
Mark says behave yourself.
Yeah. Last Sunday we weren't there. We all went to Emma and see the baby.
Yeah.
It was her first Sunday, so we packed a pew in Blue Ridge. Mark, you want to come up here and sell some floors for me?
No.
he says no.
Okay. Look, y'all sound like y'all are having a really good time up there in that studio today. I wish I was getting my truck worked on, so I couldn't come and visit. But maybe next time Mark's there, I'll drop by.
I'd love that, actually. It'd be great to see you in the studio. But I figured out earlier today that if you, like with democratic socialism, if you throw democratic in front of another word, it does soften it a bit. It actually is, like, for instance, you, Joey Clark, are for murder. It's like, no. I'm for democratic murder. And so it softens it a little bit.
It does soften a little bit. I like the idea. Maybe we should have like a democratic carpet sale.
People be like, man, they're democratizing carpet?
Yeah. But talking about sales, Mohawk has done a really good job of marking everything down for the end of the year. So if you are looking for a floor, we have LVP, $5 a foot installed. I mean, carpet going for like, what, Dad, $18, $19 a yard installed? Wow. Yeah, Dad don't know. He's just saying, yeah. Mark's at the radio station. So if y'all need a floor, seriously, call us 285-8117. No matter where you're at, if you're in the listening area, we'll come free of charge, give you that free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a floor down. Just that simple.
Again, that number is 285-8117. And when you call up Prattville Carpet, they're at 285-8117. Be sure to say you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with that Joey Clark fella and the silent supervisor, Mark.
Sounds good. Y'all have a great day.
Appreciate you. So what did I learn today? Well, I learned that New York City is what we thought they were. They're finished. They're done. That's right, Mark. They're finished. Well, they're probably not like Finnish. There's like it's a big city. There's a lot going on there. But they're stupid. That's right. They're stupid. You're not necessarily. You might be Finnish for certain people, but you all are kind of stupid. Also, it shows there are a lot of people that are, I think, stressed out. It's expensive to live there in those big blue cities run by libs. It's interesting how the places they get to rule over, because it's democracy or something, have a lot of the very problems that they constantly point out nationally. I don't know. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's just me, Joey. I learned today that your standards are not very high because you said again that AOC was hot.
Are you blind?
That ass is an axe handle wide, and coming to you, she looks just like a Shetland pony.
So what? But maybe I like ponies.
Well, you should have a woman for every day of the week if your standard is that low. Well, you should shoot for Levitt. Now, that's something you would never win an argument, but do you dare?
Oh, you try me. I could win. If I really am inspired to win an argument, I can win an argument.
You need a wife. Let me tell you what I did to me just a couple weeks ago. We're over in Biloxi. My son lives over that way. And when we're there, we go to the boat and take $100 and usually leave it with them. But this time, you get reads on when you hot. So I hit the roulette table to put 100 on double zeros. It hit. It's 36-1. So $3,600 laying on double zeros. So I picked my 100 up, 3,600 left. Left it on double zero. Dealer just shook his head. Rolled the ball, hit double zero again. $138,000. About that time, my wife walked up and she said, "Pick it up." I said, "No, it's their money. I'm letting it ride." She said, "If you do, you walking home. You would pick it up." So I knew which side of the toast my bread was buttered on. Picked it up. He rolled it double zero 3 times, 4.7 million. to which I turned around and looked at her and said, "You would have had a brighter smile, higher teeth, bigger boobs, and a brand new Suburban."
And a literal Suburban, not a euphemism for the caboose.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
But no, set your standards a little higher.
Okay.
I mean, good woman hard to come by, but if you got to put up with one, at least make sure she looks a lot better than that.
I'm just saying I like the Latino ladies. I do.
Would they make them prettier than her though? I mean,
well, it's true. I'm just saying, like, it's like, there's something to this whole idea. Like if you like something that's different than you, my Pollock face, then you don't have to go for the prime. That's a terrible way of talking about it.
We don't have to agree with you. By the way, while it's on my mind, what happened to Monker? He just disappeared from you and 1819.
He's taking some time off, getting better.
Oh, just the sabbatical's coming back?
Yes,
I like him.
Something like that. I like him too. He's doing better. I talked to him the other day.
I'll pray for him. How about that?
Amen. Thank you. Please do. Thank you, sir. 272-9228. That's 324-272-9228. I guess I should end the show how I kind of started the day. I have learned that, and I don't always follow through with this because you got to slowly develop habits. You know what I mean? Slowly develop habits. And so instead of picking up my phone immediately or looking at X or putting on music immediately or immediately running over and drinking my morning green goop, like vitamin drink or whatever I'm sipping down, I, on occasion, like to now at least pick up the Bible, not trying to read a whole Pauline epistle, but just parts of it. And sometimes as you're reading through, and that's the beautiful thing I'm learning about this, it's what speaks to you in that given moment. And I've talked to other people about this, that there are certain lines, there are certain turns of phrase, there are certain perspectives in scripture that when you're 20, You don't understand, but when you're 40, you definitely get. But when you're 40, you don't understand that other one. But when you're 80, oh, you definitely get it. You get it in a big way. So I ran across this and it struck me. I believe it's from 2 Corinthians 4:16 is where it begins. So we do not lose heart. Though our outer man is wasting away, our inner man is being renewed every day. For this slight momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. Because we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient. The things that are unseen are eternal. God bless y'all, even the ones I don't like. And y'all stay tuned. Happy hour with Greg and Pamela and the whole. Well, no, she's not.
No.
I'm sorry.
Chi-Town lady's here today.
Oh. Well, Greg and Chi-Town lady, they're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.